Hey everyone, welcome to another video and thank you for tuning in. Today I just wanted to talk about initial driving impressions and really some interesting things about being a Tesla owner. But before I even get started, I want to thank everyone for all the comments and all the feedback that I got on the last video. It was super helpful and pretty interesting actually, so keep them coming. And on that note, a couple people actually noticed some condensation in a taillight, one of my taillights, and that is something that you guys need to be aware of. That occurred about a day or two before I actually recorded that video, and I meant to bring it up, but I forgot. So again, thank you so much for pointing that out, and you guys can be on the lookout for it for when you're picking up your car. So let's get started with the video. All right, guys. Well, again, thank you for all the feedback. So some of the comments, actually, one of the funny things that I have come to find out about being a Tesla owner is how polarizing it is. Again, Tesla really seems to be a polarizing company, vehicle, whatever you want to call that whole entity that is Tesla. It's funny, I've gotten comments about the Model Y, everything from it's a hideous car, and they don't understand why I purchased it. So AKA, why would you pay that much money for a hideous vehicle? And I've gotten the opposite as well, which is, you know, amazing car. It's so futuristic. It's ahead of its time, good choice and whatnot. So yeah, it actually goes across the board, which is fun. Believe it or not, for me anyway, that's a fun thing to experience, to see how polarizing it really is. Okay, well, starting off with the driving impressions of this vehicle, I really am impressed by its performance. Obviously, the 0 to 60 times, which I'll have a few for you in this video, has been really impressive. It just never disappoints as far as acceleration goes. So that's, you know, well played, Tesla, that the 0 to 60 is pretty consistent and anybody can do it. And what I mean by anybody, I truly believe that if you put your mom or dad or grandma or grandpa into this thing, if they're just willing to nail the gas, they are going to get below 4 seconds 0 to 60 times. And that's super impressive. There's no launch control, there's no anything. It's just basically nail it and go, which makes everyone a rock star when they drive this car. So well played, Tesla, good for you. Again, I think that's part of the draw, is that you can jump into this thing and, you know, be very quick, you know, probably a little too quick for some people, but yeah, it's easy to achieve and it's so repeatable. The other thing about this vehicle is that for the performance model, it having 21-inch wheels and lowered suspension still rides very nicely. And don't get me wrong, you still feel some bumps, you feel the expansion joints on the interstate, and you know, it obviously 21-inch wheels creates a little more road noise than, let's say, 18s or, you know, smaller wheel sizes in general. But overall, the ride comfort is pretty good. You know, it seems to be forgiving, and it doesn't really punish you for being such big tires and lowered suspension setup. So that's really been a plus, you know, because I know that there's a lot of vehicles that really try to handle well, but the sacrifice is that it's a jarring ride. Now, as far as the handling side of this vehicle, I want say that it is definitely not a sports car. I don't think you're going to put, Mazda Miatas to shame, or, a Cayman GT or something like that at the racetrack to shame. Not in its stock setup. But when you hustle it through a corner, it does pretty good. It's still heavy. You can feel the weight of the vehicle. There's still some good body lean to it, so it's not necessarily a sports car. The best way that I can describe it is that it really handles like a good sports sedan, if that makes sense. So it is fun to drive though, and that again is a plus, because if you need the utility of the SUV but want to have a fun vehicle to drive, for a lot of people this might actually work. So it's useful, and it hustles around a turn pretty good. Like I said, when you initially go into a turn, if you can feel the weight want to push out, but once it actually goes through and grabs that turn, it sticks with it pretty nicely. So like I told you before, I'm going to try to get this to an autocross track, and then hopefully a regular track at some point. So do maybe a couple autocross events just to kind of see how it does in those really tight corners that are more suited to smaller wheelbase cars. But again, it's a fun vehicle to drive. It is quick, it handles decent. The ride height again is low, but the seating position is high, and that's a neat trick that Tesla does, where I think the vehicle stance is about like a sedan, but because of the seat risers on this on the interior, it positions the seat to where you feel like an SUV, or a crossover, I should say. So that's a pretty neat trick. I know some people actually think that that's kind of a cheat for Tesla to do that by putting those risers in here, but it works well, so I can't complain. Again, good ride height as far as the car goes, the vehicle goes, and good seating position. So, talking about the wheel size and lowered suspension, I gotta tell you that having the 21-inch wheels visually is awesome. It looks so good to me. But the downside is every time I go up a curb or like in an entranceway to something and I have to turn the wheel where it's coming in at an angle, I worry that I'm going to scrub these wheels. There is not a lot of rubber between the tire and the sidewall of the rim. And that always freaks me out, because I don't know what it would cost to repair a wheel if I scrubbed it, but I always feel like that when I'm going up, entranceways, curbs, or whatnot, it's going to rub at some point. I think it's honestly just a matter of time. So if that's something that you guys are worried about, I definitely think that smaller wheel sizes would probably be beneficial, and that's probably going to be the cases for the actual comfort as well. The bigger tires. Taller tires are probably going to be much more comfortable, and they'll probably not transfer as much road noise either. So, something to think about. So when I originally got this car, getting into the Tesla for the first time, I guess any Tesla really, I guess this is gonna apply to all. It seemed all so foreign, right? I mean, there was a lot that I had to get used to. Not having any actual knobs or controls, or everything being controlled through the center console. It really was a little intimidating. But truthfully, in about a week, maybe even less, I got used to it pretty quick. And I've let probably I would say half a dozen, maybe even 8 or 9 people drive this vehicle for an extended amount of time. And I mean, not the whole 5 minutes around the block, but let them use it for about an hour, drive it for about an hour while I'm with them. And I can tell you that all of the controls and getting used to the way a Tesla works came to them relatively quickly. So in spite of the initial it being different, people seem to really get used to it pretty quick. So that's been interesting to watch. You know, I've had all ages and across the board, people just kind of get in, seem really intimidated, but in 20 minutes feel right at home. And I will tell you that on that note, that I wish there was one knob that was on here, or another way to control the fan speed of the air conditioning system. I think that's about the only thing that I always am constantly adjusting. So I wish I had that, so that I could turn the fan up and down instead of going into the actual screen to do an interesting thing. Is that I've had all the people get into this vehicle, and whether they hated the outside or the inside, you know, the looks of it, the plainness of it, or the modernness of it, whichever you want to call it, no one has ever said that this vehicle is uncomfortable. As a matter of fact, it's been the opposite. It's been 100% that people have jumped into the car, and once they sit down, they're like, oh my gosh, these seats are ridiculously comfortable. So Tesla, again, well played. I don't know what you put in these seats, but everybody seems to absolutely love them. And those of you who already have a Tesla of any sort, or are getting the Model Y or have a Model Y, let me know. Is that the case for you too, that everybody that gets in is surprised at how comfortable it is? And maybe that's the thing, right? They see it as modern, and most modern things are beautiful but uncomfortable. So maybe that was their initial impression or thoughts on it, and when they get into it, it just surprises them so much that it's comfortable. You know, I don't know, but let me know if that's the reaction you get as well. So that's been really interesting. Well, while we're on the topic of interiors and seats and how comfortable it is and some of the other aspects of the interior, the shifter on the column and the push button for park, all of that seems really intuitive and convenient. Even though it's this column shifter is actually only 6 inches, maybe not even 10 inches from where you would have a traditional lever on the center console. It seems to be more intuitive and just simpler, and again, more convenient. So I don't know if that's just me, or let me know, guys. But it really is convenient and nice to have it all right here by the steering wheel. So the other thing that I noticed is the panoramic roof. This thing is beautiful, but after the initial purchase, if you're the primary driver of the vehicle, I forget about it. I actually keep forgetting that it has a panoramic roof. I guess driving and not really looking up or looking out that way or something, but it's one of those features that it's great for the cell, but practicality wise, again, I forget I have it. When I even talk about the vehicle to other people, that's probably one of the last things that I remember that it has, is a panoramic roof. So just something to note. Talking about the panoramic roof, I did buy a sunshade for it. That's going to be on the next video, and some floor mats. So if you're curious about those items, come back on the next video. I'll do a review on what I bought, why I bought it. Alright guys, I think we're going to be able to get a 0 to 60 run here. So let's do that. And I'm at 76% charge. That is so impressive. Again, 76% 76% charge, and I believe we did a 0 to 60 run in 3.76 seconds. No track prep, regular surface, just hitting the gas and going. That is honestly very, very impressive. I really wanted to give you guys an idea of its capabilities pretty much anywhere. And also in the charge rate. I don't think anybody drives around at 100, between 90 and 100% all the time, and then goes and charges their car and gets it, you know, ready to go 0 to 60 or a race. I think most of us live in the 75% range down to like maybe 50 or even 40%. So somewhere between 40 and 80%, I think, is where this car, you know, for most people, where they keep their car. And that's probably when they're going to even, you know, use that performance. So again, day-to-day driving, you are going to be able to beat 90% of the people at pretty much any charge rate, I think. You know, and let me know again if you think that's wrong. That's something that I'd be interested in knowing. Yeah, and if we can get another run in, I'll do that. And again, we're at about 75% now. Alright guys, let's do another 0 to 60 run. I believe that one was at 3.67. And again, 75% charge rate. Now for you Tesla fans, I will go and try to put a little more charge in it and get it up above 80 to see if that helps to even get better times. I am using the Draggy system. Take it for what it's worth, but again, 0 to 60 in the 3.7-ish times, which is what most people are reporting. Again, the thing that's amazing to me is that it's at 70%, that I'm not at 100 or 95%, you know, trying to get the best times. You know, I could be coming home from work and be at a normal charge rate, you know, and still achieve those times if I needed to get ahead of somebody while in traffic. I'm laughing as I say that because who needs that kind of acceleration? But anyway, it's there. So that's amazing. It really is. It's amazing that you can obtain that type of speed in an SUV consistently. Again, no launch mode of the car, no particular road surface. It's just anywhere, anytime. Impressive. As a car person, impressive. Alright guys, well, I did about 11% charging, so I brought it up to 86%. While I ran into the restroom, that took all of about, I don't know, 10 minutes. So however long I was in there, I just thought I'd again do a quick charge and do another 0 to 60 run so that you guys could see the comparison between the 75% and a you know, over 80%. Let's just try another run. that just never gets old. So much fun. Again, guys, what I wanted to do was I wanted to do 0 to 60 runs on different surfaces, on different charges, so that you guys could have an accurate depiction of the 0 to 60 performance, just in daily use. You know, not just at the highest charge rate possible or at a drag strip or anything like that. This is places anybody could be at any time and how it would perform in those conditions. Overall, guys, this thing has been pretty good to drive. It does impress me on how it handles the corners, what its performance is, and how consistently it does things. You know, so not bad. Again, so far, no real complaints. I have noticed though, I have about 1,600 miles on this thing, and in the different ways that I've charged it or whatnot, I have lost roughly, I think, 5 miles as my top charge. It used to be that I could get 291, and now I believe I'm at 186 as the top, when I'm topped out as mileage goes. And again, this is the performance. So I don't know if that's just me and how I charged, and so whatever I did, but, or if it's just a normal degradation thing, you know? So either way, that's something that you guys definitely should know, is that, you know, you're going to lose a few miles here and there, and that could just be me, you know? But again, I think my top charge now is, when I'm at 100%, I get 286, possibly 87 miles. And I know when I first got it, I was able to get 291. And again, I have 1,600 miles on the vehicle. So I'll keep you informed if it goes down any further. I haven't noticed that it has in the last couple charges. I've not really used charging stations. What I just did to put a few more percentages, miles on this thing just now during this video was only the second time that I've done a supercharging station. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you again for everything and for watching this video and all the comments. And remember to please go to your car meets, enjoy what you have, and have fun with your mods, guys. Again, thank you. We'll see you on the next video. And again, that one will be probably about some of the accessories that I have for this thing. Take care.